I spent 50 hours analyzing every major airline rewards program to figure out which one actually gives you the best value and which ones are complete garbage that waste your points, and the results are going to shock you. Programs everyone thinks are amazing are trash tier. Programs nobody talk about are absolute gold mines for value. I've helped over 5,100 people optimize their travel rewards, and I've personally redeemed over millions of points across all these programs. I know which ones let you fly business class for pennies and which one make it impossible to find availability even when you have the points. Today I'm ranking every major airline rewards program from S tier, which is the god tier program, down to D tier programs you should avoid completely, and by the end you'll know exactly which programs to focus on and which ones are wasting your time. If you want to know where to actually transfer your credit card points for maximum value, drop a like and subscribe, because this is the most comprehensive airline rewards ranking you'll ever find. Let's jump straight into the tier list. Now, how I'm going to judge them is award availability. Can you actually find seats when you want to fly? Some programs have amazing rates but zero availability. Sweet spots. Are there routes or redemptions where you get outsized value? Devaluation history. Has the program consistently devalued points or kept them stable? Partner access. Can you book flights on partner airlines easily? Ease of earning. Can you transfer points from credit cards or do you have to fly to earn? Redemption flexibility. Are there blackout dates or dynamic pricing that kills value? I've organized everything from S tier for absolute best programs down to D tier for programs that are borderline scams. So let's dive straight into it. So let me start with one everyone knows. That's British Airways' Avios. And this is going to be controversial, but for me personally, this program belongs in D tiers. So let's start with D tier. Now, the fuel charges are absolutely insane. BA passes on £400 to £600 in charges on long haul flights. You're paying hundreds in cash plus hundreds and thousands of Avios for business class. That's terrible value. Their distance-based pricing kills long-haul value. Short-haul Europe flight trips are cheap, like 9,000 to 15,000 one way, but long-haul gets expensive real fast. Also, BA has a devaluation history of consistently devaluing their program over years. Now, the big one, and one I absolutely hate, is award availability issues. You literally cannot find business class on BA. It is difficult, and when you do, those fuel charges destroy the value. The only reason I would ever use BA Avios is for short-haul flights within Europe or booking with partner airlines like Qatar Airways, where the fuel charges are a lot lower. But for anything long-haul on BA, there is no chance I'm booking. I see people transfer points to BA, then discover they need 100,000 points plus £600 on top in fees for a business class to New York. That's not a good deal. It's a scam. There are way better alternatives. Book the same flight through someone like Alaska or another partner and avoid surcharges entirely. Now, the next on the list is Qatar Airways, and let me show you what an S tier program actually looks like. This might be the single best airline rewards program in existence right now. Qatar is S tier, and there's a reason why. It has incredible award availability. Qatar actually releases business and first class award seats to partners. You can genuinely find Q suite availability if you're flexible. It has amazing sweet spots like 70,000 miles for business class from Europe to Asia on one of the world's best business class products. That's insane value. You have partner awards to book Cathay Pacific, British Airways, Iberia, all at reasonable rates. It has a stable program. They have not massively devalued like other programs like your BA and your Emirates. Miles maintain value over time. They also have good transfer partners. You can transfer American Express, City or Capital One, making these miles accessible. And the beauty of Qatar is you get real luxury when you redeem with Qatar. You're getting Q Suites business class or exceptional first class. This isn't just good value, it's genuine world-class experience. I've personally booked multiple Q Suite flights using Qatar's miles, Europe to Doha to Asia, in Q suites for 70 to 80,000 miles. That's a £5,000 ticket for what amounts to maybe 700 to 800 pounds worth of points. This program is untouchable right now. Now, the next airline is Emirates, and this should be amazing given their product quality, but the program is B tier at best. The issue with Emirates is, number one, award availability is kind of terrible, especially in business and first class. They have high mileage requirements for their cards. They have limited transfer partners, which is only American Express in the UK. They have dynamic pricing, which make costs unpredictable. Now, when Emirates' program does work, if you can find availability, Emirates' first class is exceptional. The problem is actually finding that availability and affording the miles required. So it's better to book Emirates through something like Alaska or Japan Airlines if possible. Now, the next airline is Singapore Airlines, and I put Singapore Airlines in A tier. It's a fantastic program that used to be S tier, but recent changes moved it down. Now, the good thing about Singapore Airlines is that you get access to one of the world's best business class products, reasonable award pricing on their flights, and good partner redemptions with star alliances, transfer from American Express, Chase, City, and Capital One. Now, why am I not putting this in S tier? The award availability on their own flights can be pretty tough. They've devalued partner redemptions over recent years. Fuel surcharges can be high on some routes. Singapore suites and their new business classes are incredible experiences, and the only thing that's keeping it from S tier is the availability challenges. Now, the next airline is Delta SkyMiles, which might be the worst major airline rewards program in absolute existence. This is D tier for me, and I'm not being dramatic. Why is this D tier? It has no award chart. Delta uses completely dynamic pricing with no transparency. One day a flight costs 70,000 miles, the next day it costs 300,000 miles for the same seat. That's terrible redemption values. Delta consistently charges more miles than any other program for the same flights. I've seen business class to Europe for 400,000 plus miles when other programs are charging 100,000 points. And this causes devaluation through dynamic prices because they don't officially devalue, they just gradually increase prices until your miles are worthless. The math just doesn't make sense. Delta SkyMiles consistently deliver 0.5 to 0.7 cent per mile value. That's worse than just using a 2% cashback card. Real example, a business class round trip to Europe with Delta will be 250 to 350,000 miles. Air France will want something like 110,000 to 140,000 miles for the same exact flight. Virgin Atlantic would want 90,000 miles for the same routes. Delta is charging 2 to 3 times more than their own partners for the exact identical flights. That's not a loyalty program. That's a trap. Never transfer points to Delta. If you have American Express points, travel to literally any other program than that. Now, the next airline is Alaska Airlines' mileage plan. Now, Alaska doesn't get the attention it deserves, but the program is absolutely S tier, and I will definitely place it in S tier. Now, why is Alaska S tier? It has the best partner sweet spots. This is where Alaska shines. Japan Airlines first class from US to Tokyo for just 70,000 miles one way. Cathay Pacific business class across the Pacific for just 50,000 miles. Emirates first class for 180,000 miles round trip when other programs charge 300,000 plus. No fuel charges, and this is huge. When you book partner awards, Alaska doesn't pass on the fuel surcharges that can add hundreds to your ticket. They also have a transparent awards chart. While everyone moves to dynamic pricing, Alaska maintains a published awards chart so you know exactly what flights cost. They also have stopover rules. You can add a free stopover for one-way awards, essentially getting 2 trips from 1 redemption. They also have some of the best transfer partners, for example, American Express and Marriott Bonvoy. The only reason Alaska isn't talked about more is because people don't understand how to use partner rewards. But if you know what you're doing, Alaska miles are some of the most valuable in the game. I've booked Japan Airlines first class and Emirates first class through Alaska for significantly fewer miles than any other program. This is elite level value. Now, the next airline is Cathay Pacific Asia Miles. This one hurts because Cathay Pacific Business Class is actually incredible, but the program itself is C tier and frustrating. Why is it C tier? Because award availability on Cathay is extremely difficult to find. Its devaluation history is absolutely terrible. The fuel charges are through the roof. Now, partner redemptions are often better through other programs. Now, the reality is it's better to book Cathay flights through Alaska or Qatar Airways, where you'll find better availability and rates. Now, the next program is Air France, and this is a slept on program and deserves way more attention, and that's exactly why I'm going to put it into A tier. And the reason why it deserves A tier is because it has loads of monthly promos where rewards have 25 to 50% discount on specific routes, reasonable business class pricing all around Europe. You get access to all SkyTeam partners. That includes Delta, transfer from American Express, Chase, City, and Capital. Now, it also has no award chart, but this means flexibility, but requires strategic booking. Now, the strategy with Air France is Flying Blues promo rewards are where the magic happens. Every month, they discount specific routes. If your travel aligns with promos, you get exceptional value. For example, I booked business class to Europe for 55,000 miles during a promo when it would normally cost 110,000. That's massive savings. If you're patient and flexible, you get rewarded with Air France. Now, the next airline we're going to put on the tier list is Turkish Airlines. Now, I'm going to give them a B tier because they're interesting but also frustrating. Now, the good that comes with Turkish Airlines is cheap awards to and from Istanbul, access to Star Alliance partners, some sweet spots exist. Now, the bad is award booking is clunky, limited transfer partners, and not enough value for most people's needs. Now, the next airline we're going to tier is Virgin, and Virgin deserves A tier for one main reason, because it gives access to Delta and ANA at great rates. ANA business class round trip from US to Japan for just 90,000 miles, which is absolutely insane. Delta domestic flights at reasonable rates. Virgin owns upper class and it is excellent when you can find it. But why am I not giving Virgin S tier? The reason why is because you get limited route networks on Virgin's award system. Availability can be challenging and the fuel charges on some of the Virgin flights from UK can be really high. But those ANA redemptions alone can make this program worth having in your toolkit. That's some of the best business class in the world at unbeatable prices. Now, the next rewards program is Iberia Plus, and I'm going to put Iberian Airlines in B tier. Now, why B tier? Because it's good for short-haul Europe flights and it has Avios sweet spots. It has access to One World partners. It transfers from American Express, Chase, and Capital One. Now, the problem is you're limited to long-haul value, and also the One World award space can also be limited. Now, the next rewards program is Aeroplan. That's Air Canada's reward system. And this used to be trash, but you know what? After the redesign, I genuinely think it's legitimately A tier now. Now, what makes it A tier is the fact that you have access to all Star Alliance partners, including United, Lufthansa, and ANA. The stopover rules let you add free stops on long-haul awards. It also has dynamic pricing, which can work in your favor on some of the routes. Transfer from someone like American Express, Capital One, Chase, or Marriott Bonvoy. Now, the only downside that comes with this is the fact that the fuel surcharges can be brutal on some of those partners. Dynamic pricing also means that the rates will fluctuate, but if you're strategic about avoiding surcharges and booking during pricing sweet spots, Aeroplan can deliver solid value for you. Now, the next airline is the ANA Mileage Club, which is ANA's reward system. And this is confusing because the product should actually be S tier, but the program is B tier. And the reason why I'm not ranking it any higher, because it's difficult to earn miles and it's limited with transfer partners that are actually outside of Japan. But not only that, the website is very difficult to navigate for bookings. Some routes have high surcharges, but that being said, said, the reason why I've not put it lower is because it has excellent business and first class when you book it through Good Star Alliance partners. The award chart is stable. If you can figure out how to use it effectively, there's value here. But most people will find it more frustrating than it's worth. But if you're a Japanese person watching this video, you are really lucky. Now, the next airline we're going to go over is Etihad. And this has a good product, but a mediocre C tier program. And that's why it's going into C tier. Now, the problem with this is you get limited transfer partners, award availability is poor, high redemption rates for their own flights. The program just doesn't offer enough value. Unless you're flying Etihad regularly out of Abu Dhabi, this program doesn't make sense for most people. Now, the next airline is Avianca LifeMiles, and I would put this in B tier because it has some incredible sweet spots, but the program itself is a little bit sketchy. Now, what do I mean by this? The sweet spots are lovely because some of the cheapest business class redemptions to Europe come from these guys. Access to Star Alliance includes United and Lufthansa, but the problem is they've had issues with miles disappearing from accounts. Customer service is absolutely horrendous. They add taxes and fees that seem arbitrary. The program feels unreliable. I've personally used LifeMiles successfully, but I don't keep a large balance there. Transfer only what you need immediately. Now, the next airline is Aer Lingus AerClub, and this gets placed into C tier because if I'm completely honest, I can't think of many reasons to use them. The issue with them is it's a limited route network. It's better to book through someone like British Airways, to be honest with you. No compelling sweet spots, limited transfer partners. It's only really useful if you specifically fly with Aer Lingus regularly, which most people don't. And that's my full tier list done. Now, I'm going to tell you how I actually use this tier list. 90% of my transfers go to S tier and A tier programs. Qatar, Alaska, Air France, and Virgin Atlantic get the majority of my points. I keep my flexibility by maintaining points in my credit card accounts until I'm ready to book. I never transfer until I found the specific award I want. I use transfer bonuses strategically. When American Express offers 30% bonus to a good program, I jump on it straight away. Now, I personally avoid BA and Delta completely unless there's literally no other options, which is a rare occasion. I monitor award availability across some multiple programs before transferring. Sometimes the same flight is available for fewer miles in different programs. This strategy alone has let me fly business class to Asia, Europe, Middle East, and across the US for a fraction of what most people pay. Now, if this tier list helps you understand which airline programs actually deliver value and which ones are wasting your points, drop a like and subscribe. I've helped over 5,100 people optimize travel rewards and fly business class using strategic point transfers. Comment below which program shocked you the most, whether it's Qatar being S tier or Delta being D tier. Let me know if you disagree with any of my rankings, and check out my video on the best credit cards to earn points that transfer to these S tier programs, linked in the description. Remember, the best airline rewards program isn't the most popular one. It's the one that gives you the most value for your actual travel goals. Now go transfer your points to some S tier programs and stop wasting your miles on Delta and British Airways.